welcome back to Whisky Wednesday. I'm Joe. As you can see, I've got a little bit of a special guest in this video. I've had a lot of requests actually about my cat. This is one of them. You might have seen in a previous video my Lady of the Glen in the Gordon bottling. He was meowing in the background, and so yeah, this is just him. This is Frodo. Very geeky name, I know. But say hello. Just wanted to show you guys the cat. It's been quite quiet. Anyway, back to the whisky. This weekend I was at the Midlands Whisky Festival in Stourbridge. That's an absolutely fantastic festival, and it was so good to see so many kind of new faces and faces that I've been chatted to on Twitter over the months and years, and it was so great to meet some of you guys. It was a really great festival, and I'm still kind of feeling a little bit tired from it because it was a long day of drinking some fantastic whisky. I think I have to say my highlight was probably the Glenglasser 26. It was an absolutely fantastic whisky. So if you did come to the festival, please leave me a comment. It'd be great to know that I met you. I know some people that had a really good time. Right, on with the review. Aberlour 12-year-old. I thought I'd review something. I've been reviewing a lot of American whiskies for the past 6 weeks, so I thought it's time to go back to Scotland and review one of the really, really good value single malts. Now this Aberlour 12, in the UK you can only get it from one of the whisky shop chains, and they're dotted around the country. 12-year-old, it's double cask matured, so sherry and bourbon cask aging. Bottled at a slightly higher 43% than the standard 10-year-old. And classic Speyside, so let's give it a nose. On the colour, I'd just say that's kind of slightly, it's kind of a nice amber colour. Right, let's give it a nose. Now you might recognise this if you're watching this overseas in Europe, France. This was first made available in France and then it came over to the UK. So if you're from overseas, you might recognise it from France. On the nose, lovely red berries. That'll be coming from the sherry cask aging. Quite kind of fruit cakey. You do get a sense of that bourbon creaminess coming through as well. Little hints of vanilla in there. Fairly kind of, almost like breakfast bars. You know, you get kind of the breakfast bars, Special K cranberry with a little bit of the kind of creamy yoghurt on the bottom. It's kind of like that. Soft, supple, fruity, creamy, really nice nose. Alright, I think let's have a taste of this one. Really, really good. Quite a spicy finish. I always seem to talk about the finish first, but when you finish drinking the whiskey, that's what for me immediately jumps out as the finish. So to me this finish is quite spicy, and then going back to the body, kind of the front of the palate and the start, and you get that kind of slightly kind of biscuity, quite malty note to it. A little bit of peppery spice. There's some red berries in there, kind of cranberries. I think I need to give it another taste. There's almost some cranberry juice, quite a lot of fruit to this. Cranberry juice, maybe a kind of ruby breakfast juice, toffee apples. There's some kind of like lovely kind of vanilla toffee and fruity apples coming through as well, which is quite similar to the 10-year-old. I know the 10-year-old's quite widely available in a lot of supermarkets, and the 10-year-old has that kind of appley quality. This has got that, but it's got the added layer of spice, of toffee, of that maltiness. All right, one more taste. You get a lovely caramelised pears and apples. It's a really nice whiskey, quite uncomplicated, but there's a lot of flavours, so it's not a hugely challenging whiskey, which is why it's the price it is. It's a $38.99, so it's a fantastic whiskey for under £40. If you're like looking to get into single malts, then something like this would be a really kind of good go-to. It's got a bit of everything there. It's got that fruit, it's got that creaminess from the bourbon cask influence, and it's got quite a nice spicy finish. It's a fairly kind of, I'd say it's around about a medium length finish, but those spices, and it's slightly kind of, it's almost kind of a very, very, very slightly salty, drying quality on the finish as well. I like it. It's a really good kind of everyday, kind of middle of the taste spectrum single malt. So I would give this an 8 out of 10, definite 8 out of 10, purely based on the price, taste, finish, nose. Really, really good go-to whiskey. So, Aberlour 12-year-old single malt from Speyside in Scotland. Highly recommend checking it out. Should hopefully be able to find this in a lot of decent pubs as well. I know they should be stocking it as well. So, I will see you next week. Please share the video. I'll put all my Facebook links and Twitter links in the description below. And be sure to check out my future videos. I've got some very, very exciting reviews coming up, including the George T. Stag from the Buffalo Trace Distillery. I've got a load of Glencadam samples to review, some Cutty Sark, Benriach Curiositas, some Amrut, some Indian whiskey, Johnny Walker Double Black. That's just a little taste of what's on offer in the next couple of months. See you next week, guys. Cheers.